Tamale Mirundi mutawani wa Yohana Mirundi ne Mole n'amatovu uliyo cyana Josibye obajo suze cyalero wadamu ashaka sobola kugira bulungi kali tandise buterevu wetu kino mukuku na Tamale Mirundi ensi yehuza designer gwokozesa
when you get a job, an important job, you must get 3 people. The person who manages your wardrobe. Chovolaba, the Omokuba daughter of a president designer. It's not a mistake.
To have a designer in
you get a handler. A handler and an advisor are different. An advisor in Uganda's case is welfare. Totu swazenga tone bolu
yegwe.
Kubanga nachigana. I've been the chief advisor of the president for 14 years as his spokesperson.
When you spokesperson, you are not an advisor.
You are the chief advisor. As Governor Bank of Uganda, I've been your chief advisor. I think I can be anti-advisor. Mubagando muntu atambulanga demo bekaba musezi. Kakati a handler is somebody who tells you into a strategy.
You want to tell me into Bakuddamu kuitokola press secretary wa Museveni tochikola? Mirundi.
Nkuboli. Andika nkuboli Lazaro bwe bayamuzukiza yakola ki? Your time comes. The key players in the media sibayina. I have a hostile media. Ikitigeza bo nkumi yawo Lazaro yafa. Naye yayogera kimugulu. Bible emwogera kubimeka. Obasanjo came back. The Nigeria he left was not the Nigeria. Had to fight a fierce battle with Atiku, his vice president. When Obete came back,
then Museveni is not your friend. Because if he calls you to Denagat, you know what, Mirundi, my media is failing, please come back.
I can be a handler. An advisor and a handler, these are different issues in Uganda's case. A handler tells you. An advisor does not mean that I will advise you. These are propaganda titles. How many times has Museveni called his advisors when he has a crisis? How many of them have seen him? Political science in Banchi Mani. We have inflated titles. Inflated titles. Nebitiwa. Ndikakato yinzo kudiakana kalamukawa kakato. Nokaganti ono mukyala wamu n'omukulu. Era nebe kafuyiri obubere. Sister wako nakabuza okimye ekimu kisenga. Atenze mukyala wamu n'omukulu. Nze nasoma political science. In fact kankobolira. Let me give you. Muyinze ntambula n'ebitabo byange.
Enemba disinaga lutuka.
Andi kankobolira.
Nganja tufunulire ku muli.
Wait, nkubolire. Kankuwe obuze ekibuzo kirungi nnyo. Nkugamba. Therefore, a vice president can be appointed to heal wounds like in the above instance. A vice president can be appointed to ensure unity. This is what happened in countries like Tanzania. If the president comes from the mainland, the vice is from Zanzibar Island. It can be done to protect the interests of the big tribes or to show solidarity with the minority groups. In India, they can elect a president from the untouchables or a prime minister from the Seke. Bakafuna amusinga singo mwe akafuga India. The second type is a vice president for regime continuity. This is common in countries like USA. The president and his running mate, vice president, are voted together on the same ballot. Other appointments. A government is like a host with the visitors who cannot fit in his dining room at once. Also, if the visitors outnumber the utensils in the house, a wise host must divide his or her guests into groups. The first group is served and leaves giving away to another. Government jobs are occupied at a time, depending on one's role at a time. Once the role is over, another one takes over. In Uganda, President Museveni has always compared his government to a railway station, where there are new arrivals and departures.
Very good. Now, why do you people have trouble knowing nti agitwalanga railway station muba newe muko
ayombera ki
Mirundi kyota netegereza have you ever sat down to find out why did Museveni make you his prosecutor? Did you ever think about
I knew
what was the problem?
I knew
you wanted to silence you because you were anti him. You were hitting him.
No, Museveni bwomutunuulira onabagamba when intelligent people are fighting in Museveni's government, he allows the battle. He is enjoying the intellectual debate. Nede n'abakoba type abo bannamuganza ne balwanya mu government y'abagoba talina kyabafunamu but can allow
when the ministers fight babagoba
anti what's the contentious issue of your fighting nti asobola kudya suluma ne bakubagana ne governor wa Bank of Uganda Emmanuel Mutebiri he listens
because they are fighting with economic policy but this policy
yafunamu ne n'abakoba gwerwana nani ne munne bwe mufaanana out tafunamu omutafunamu anti abagobamu oba bakyusa naye Museveni takyusa minisita nga balwanira nga issue izekemi nze nyinza okudda ewange mu nyumba nenekweka oba ebweru nempulya bato y'abaana omusajja omu yali tamanyi nti omwana si wuwe he had 2 daughters kakati agenda okubeera mu nyumba nga tebamenye nti mwali the 2 daughters started fighting each other. Why do you drive my daddy's car? Why don't you go to your father's and drive yours? The man didn't know.
Is an indisciplined child.
Anti nedda yali amugamba gwe taata si yakuzaala. And the man called them. Why do you think that lwaki ogamba ono nti agende? Daddy, don't you know? Ono mwana wa gundi.
Ng'omwana teyayo.
Hey. I enjoy. I hide. There was a time when I nekwese. I was opposed. Kumutani wange omukuwasa. I apologized to my daughter-in-law. Now that you were part of us, she had me was been fighting you. I didn't like you. But now you have defeated me.
Where do you stretch yourself to make selections?
I express as a parent. Nachireta. Mbandi wange nekwe ngamba ndi bweru. Nimba ulianga baga nti ncha bagenda kwanjula.
Nomanya nti owed.
I'm a spy. Twasoma public, twasoma personnel management. Personnel management you must even know nickname yo. Ti abana bo bakuyitani, abakozi bakuyitani. Personnel management. Bakugeyanga tubulira.
Ne bakyuse ebigamba.
So personnel management you must be like a spy. Bogera kwani. Mu language ene ya bulijjo tukita slang. At one time nagenda okugula kamunye omusajja ne Muyanga agamba munne tokkiriza omugagga okuva mu ssanda saagula. I went to find out from Muyai okuva mu ssanda kitegeeza ki
tokkiriza omugagga okuva mu ssanda essanda is a slang meaning nti bwe ekimotoka kifu zakuwamu zonna zirye. So I didn't buy the car. I had to go back to find out phrase netegeeza ki okuva mu ssanda abakebezi kitegeeza ekimotoka kifu zonna zakuwamu.
Kakati oyinza okuyingira edduuka ng'olina byoyagalamu omunaagamba munne nti oyo mukebezi. Omukebezi means tabula. Azekebera utakutawanya mukebezi. Oyo mukebezi. Mbega tumumanyi. Kasaba suspecting omuntu. Bakuga nti etonya egenda okutonya erimu n'obubwatuka ng'omanya waliwo owayiso.
Bwemuogera bwemuti.
Anti la nkugei tukiyita slanga. You must understand. Genda obabuuze ku American Embassy obawa. They have abasomesa Oluganda. Oyina okutegeera silanga gye boogereramu nti oyo mukebezi tagenda gula oyo mukebezi
tagenda gula wokalira wekati ewaffe mu district zewaffe Rakayani kasowulya Namwanje ye Namwandu si wango
yafunye Kinnamwanje kitegeeza
basigala baana bato. Why should they have the stigma of being a widow? No ye Namwanje oyo yafunye Kinnamwanje eki
kitegeeza alina Kinnamwanje
bala ali luddawa omukazi mubuuze bakubuuza balo yalagawa nti ali bweru mu mimwanyi mu kabuli oba ali ku kyeyo. You must understand ali bweru luddawa. Omanyi oyo omukazi gwoliko baawa ali bweru nga oli yeetambulira
bweru kitegeeza nti ali luddawa
mu kabuli takyasula mu nju. So nze mbeewuunya an intelligence officer silanga oyina ogitegeera. You must understand the language of the spoken in a particular area. Ti omuganda akuga nti ewali omulema tewafunyirwa ngalo nti ŋŋamba ono aweta ngalo anti ono gwe ŋŋamba ono. Kakati bw'oba boogera ku President Museveni ogenda okulanda
bamuyita buno
kasola bakutteko nti ono ng'omanye bagamba ye
bakwatira
anti birevu
nzizaayo ku kye nakubuuzizza.
Yes.
Did you know why
he did
chose you to be
his
president for 14
years? Every
decision must be purposeful. Every appointment is purposeful. Mchikunyonyedde kikolemye okutegeera nenkuga nti appoints other appointments. A government nkuga nti is a host oyina ogivaamu nenkugamba other point welfare.
So were you appointed for welfare purposes?
One can be appointed in order to help meet his her welfare needs.
That I understand.
There are many senior citizens who find themselves in horrible situations, having contributed a lot to the country. Such a people can be given political jobs to ensure their welfare and comfortable retirement.
You are giving reason.
Toga ntandaba. Toga bane Museveni ntandaba. Takuwanga ko mulabe. Welfare nga tutigwa olubege. Nenkugamba. Number 2. Close monitoring. There are people are appointed in a position of government where they can be closely monitored by the government.
Where do you belong?
Political tag. An appointment can be intended to give you a political tag or to expose you that you actually belong to a particular party.
True.
Number 4. Talent nurturing. Political appointments are made sometimes to effectively utilize and nurture special talents. The beneficiaries get a chance to advance a special ability and at the same time assist the appointment authority to help bayinza okujjayo bakusomesa.
You wanted to bring
many political appointments have of course been made for the earlier reasons have enumerated above concerning the vice president.
Where do you belong?
Nina communication facilities. Museveni wanted a communicator. Bali ku experiment nabagamba nti when you are working for a president you must observe 4 principles. 1. Never attend or engage in any meeting, conference or gathering that adversely discussing adversely yes
against your principle.
Yakujja mu bannayuganda obukaddaana n'akuleeta omukolere gwe buli lwolaba wonna nga bamuteesaako future ye negatively bawaabire gandi report them
kati gwakyalwa ne mulimu nga waguvaako naye okyalwana weerabidde
no nenkugamba ekyokubiri never engage in any battle with the members of the first family. Why? You not win the battle. Why? They meet the president informally, you meet the president formally. Yes, sinkana mutabani we. Ereru tojja kulwana na muhozi. You are officers, but musisinkana chi. Salim Saleh got ever since I became a general, an officer. I go to my brother, salute him, get instruction, salute and go. Never kulimba. That applies to an officer atali muganda we.
Because
Ye muchika.
Very informal.
Family meeting. They meet uli muganda we. Gwetoli. Kakati nenkugamba ekyokusatu. Nti never fight anybody. Because the time comes when the president needs all of those you fought.
I want you to listen to yourself now.
Yes.
Never fight anybody.
Everybody.
But you are known for fighting people.
Anti nkugambye nti kakati atene tujja tujijuliriza neri conclusion egamba ki. When you are traveling in a canoe, riding in a canoe with the stubborn son or daughter of the owner of the canoe, and he starts wrecking the canoe, throw him into the water and go and explain to the boss. Yes.
Tamale, don't contradict yourself.
Never
fight anybody.
Because
you never know when your people need those people.
Area assumption yesooka assumes nti omulabe tava mu first family. Family members must, every system, family or institution must fight for self-preservation.
You have refused to live your own life.
Never
fight members of the first family, but you are on record.
The first statement applies, assumes that an enemy cannot emerge from the first family.
If he does,
yes.
Then the other principle dies.
Miringo lwaki bamugoba mu ekereziya Archbishop Miringo was wrecking the boat.
The big story.
When you are traveling, run it from today.
Mirundi.
When you are riding in a canoe with a stubborn boy or daughter
of the owner
of the canoe, and start wrecking the canoe, threatening your lives, throw him into the water and go and explain. The President Amboza, Abukuba Baji. Why are you attacking?
You were attacking.
And he used to ask me, why are you attacking this man? Yes, Your Excellency, ABCD. Watch Awuko. I will handle him. Embwe sukira.
So Otani.
Embwe goba nabako, embwe goba abagenyi. Embwe gochigamba, watch. Don't wait. A person who defends the president cannot wait to be pushed like a wheelbarrow. Run faster. Yes, let him restrain you. One time he asked it. Mpulira bamvuma ku radio ne babange bakola ki ho enkera ne nteeka mu girafes ba
we'll be right back with your Tamale Mirundi.
Enoni Baba TV obusoga bulaire. Nile Plastics eikolera eryaganibwa mu Idinda Njeru Town tulina ebyuma eby'omulembe ebyeyambisibwa okufulumya ebintu eby'omumaka bino nga biri ku mutindo gw'ensi yona ebintu byaife bya plastic bikozesebwa okwambaka mu kugonza obulamu n'okuba nga bweyagaza eri abantu boona wano Muyanga ne Kulia olw'omutindo n'emboneka ey'endawulo omuli eby'omu ifumbiro nkani restaurant eby'abaana mu size dona doyenda kuno nga tutaku n'okukola obutebe n'emmeeza okubonesa ekifo kyo nga kya first class ate bwe kituuka ku tanka dhaife dh'amaadi dinezira wandi wida kudagana atenga difulumira mu size dona dakolebwa okuba nga dabuwangazi anti dhirina emibiri egiwerera iralena okuwangalira mu mbeera yonna ey'obuyire okumanya ebisingawo twaganibwa mu Njeru Town oba tukubire ku isimu lino noti 753 29 noti 22 ndala ni ku email gmsugarplastic@gmail.com gemagana n'aba Nile Plastics okufuna ebintu eby'omulembe.
Taste the difference.
Abaana kirabo kyandawulo buli omu alina okubakuuma era n'okubakussa n'obwegendereza okukakasa nti omwana we alina birth certificate kimegulirawo endigi eddandibaire enzibu okutuukaku okugeza okugemebwa okuweebwa ebifo mu masomero oba okulaga emyaka negyava tukole omulimu gwaffe ng'abazaire n'abakuza nga tuwandiisa abaana bafune birth certificate. Okuma n'ebisingawo kyalira ofiisi ezidanira eddikuli okumpi oba okube ku nnamba etali yakusasulira eya 0800 22 17 00 obubaka buno bukutuusibwaku nira.
Olina kasenteko oyagala kulattako ofuneko obwezimbira Julex. Otunda nyumba gye weezimbira oba oyagala kugula ewedde on'okutawuka Julex. Ekyapa kyo wakifuna oyagala kukikyusa kidde mu mannya go Julex. Buli luguudo lwewayagala oluyingira Kampala bano balinako ettaka Julex. Bamufuna mpola tuwonye bano batunda n'ettaka ku kibanja mpola Julex. Nammwe be babbako ettaka nga byakulemerera oyagala anakulwanira Julex. Balina ettaka mu Kampala wo munnange yangu ofuneko weezimbira Julex.
Julex Property Consultants Limited tusangibwa Nansana ku Jenina State oba tukubire ku namba z'essimu zino wammanga 0752 46 11 oba 0788 46 11 12 jangu ofune ekyomulembe
Julex.
Enoni Baba TV obusoga
kalibuli lwakuna esawa 3 paka 5 ku Baba TV mutawali wa Baba Media Group ne Joseph Tamale Mirundi Big Story ensonga
abatulwanyisa bategeere we gave them the first choice.
Why do you mind
they did not understand our value. Let somebody, if you saw something on Kasasiro, you have to surrender it to Karoli. Why do you fight Karoli?
It's picked what you rejected.
Yes. If you use a toilet paper and you flush the water, do you expect to retrieve the toilet paper?
I don't want to get into that conversation.
Why don't people... Nobody can control my head. You can go to court. If you see me, when you are UCC, I don't mind. To be in quarter, the shift of UCC, as who?
As a broadcaster,
you go to a relevant minister.
No, the fact you get here, obeying the UCC,
UCC.
Gwe mugenyi waffe oli kumayengo gawe controlling teyagala na Mirundi.
If you invite,
as you say, listen to you.
If you invite a non-Christian into a mosque, omubuuza wuzu.
Gwe bali bakuwandikiddeko.
They know
us.
They know I'm not answerable to them. If they agree, you see, UCC is for arbitration. If I don't want arbitration, go to court. It's not mandatory that I should go yomwana ne yatule mimbali kanange ntule mimbali. Ebyo byamwebyo gasiya wa mutu.
Eyo katuveyo.
Tayina kyajja kunko.
Tebanna kugambako bali kuffe. Tutteko kuhandulinga. The duty is mine to handle.
Jurisdiction ekwata kuwonde ku social media ujina. Jurisdiction.
For as long as you are broadcasting.
Basomera ludda.
No, for as long as you are broadcasting.
Do they register with you?
Yes.
If a powerful China has failed to control babujjawo buno yogera tugende nze reduce my temper nyizina koko atagwe ompitangako mu office nti kunyumiza n'olaba otegera Mirundi be yaleka omwana nagamba omuserikale wa police nti emotoka yatomera emotoka ya UC eyo olina adduka nagamba laba emipiira gye nemugamba nti tetutawana tugendeko Freedom Square nkukube twekube otegere nti Uganda ya missing omudali mu Olympics ogw'ebikonde kukube nkutwali wakayikula ate nkutwale lyali sajja ddene bweri namugaa we don't waste time here haggling omusajja atumedde emotoka yange agenze abadde alina kusimu okwata yange ddene bweri era nendigoba mu Kampala namugaa tugende tugende wali ku Freedom Square nkukube kujjemu amanyi tugende wakayikula ng'owandagala otegere nti Uganda yafiira omudali gwa Olympics mu bikonde
sitamira w'ekikondo omujja wasamba kikondo kyetaaga olisoba bulungi bagamba tofunayo dakiika yakubasoma bulungi
kati siri soba gwe kankubuulire
zimanyi gombuulira
nze ebbaala nga ogudde olutale mu bbaala sifuluma nze nsembayo mala kubala mirambo nze sifuluma nga sinabala mirambo ngakula olutale mu bbaala nga mwendi gwe lutakule mu bbaala nga mwendi nze nsembayo nga maze okubala emirambo
katugende Kenya. William Samoei Ruto, the president wa Kenya, mukalulu akalimu amatanka nti akalulu
let me tell you, in fact we am writing about Kenyan politics because I've written much about Kenyan politics. The things you would learn from the Kenyan politics is one.
What do we learn?
One. We have a politician, we have a statesman, we have a liberator and a second liberator. We have a role assigned to you by the population. Unless you sit down and analyze what role does the society want you to do, parliament zero. Not because these people don't want me, but they see me as a reformer.
You don't have the patience to be in parliament.
Be the best parliamentarian. Name system when ya caucusing sigenda mumfiramu. That's why people like Nsereko, such Kuba and others must become rebel MPs to assert themselves. In any political party, even a single political party, a single system, the backbenchers must be allowed to express their feelings. When it comes to a budgetary speech, every member must be allocated 20 minutes. This is why Chesimira, Bamongeranga Medachakaviri or Okunanagira. Now when you have caucusing, it has an impact.
But if you your system, yes, you must abide by the rules.
It kills. That's why the opposition people shine. When you look at the Hansard in the future, parliament, when you bring a motion, all of the people criticize it, but because when it comes to Abalambazi, then they pass the bill. So you must understand, society kwagalangani, society eyagala Raila Odinga, not as a leader.
As what? The public?
Yes, Shikuku. Joseph Martin Shikuku. Shikuku bamwitanga the wananchi ambudizimana.
So you want me to be
to
what?
Fight Gorwana chi. Who can invite now Luchamas to a function? Yerolo Jimamu, Luchamas at one time yayambanga nyo inalemu. Ngabali nda Luchamas na commenting ku chintu. Nibampategere echo chifudde. Tewali wenalemu agenda chikiriza. So you must understand which role that the society want you to play. And once you understand the role of the society chekwagaza, which is not easy, nti totegera society kwagazachi
oyagala kungamba tibanna Kenya tebagala nkola Raila Odinga kubera president wabwe, but they have been voting for him.
Anti kubuli tawangula support, you see, support nti olaba home ground. Crowds in the political science don't mean anything. They are psychological. Tunuli abe NRM is very unique in mobilization. NRM tena nyimba
naye somba
halagidde
basomba
atuwebe sija kalulu haja halagidde mwena alimba ine nyimba mwino tuina obululu mwine mondo tuina obululu mwino emondo tuina obululu organizing NRM tumanyi organizing
era kwe kuwuzika
nti crowd anti chemulowoza yes where you find a political party that organizes public rallies in a tent, when the intention of a public rally is to instill fear, crowd. But when you get sensible people like me, crowds are very converted into voters. The moment you fail to convert large crowds into voters, omukazi alina olubuto aba yagenda okuzaala abalongo nomubeeramu omwana omu ali overweight lwaki babapima ku minzaani. Two, Raila
ogatta bwoti obanga azimba ekintu ate n'omenya
anti nemenya ki.
So you believe NRM wins elections
genuinely? Do you believe NRM wins?
Do you believe that?
Yes.
Tamale?
Yes. NRM wins. Yes. Nakugamba nti lwaki NRM ewininga Museveni yaleeta enkola embwa n'agikuulamu amannyo. I'm doing more work than the opposition. How do you convince a person nti gundi kubanga abantu ba Uganda bamanyi nti semwogerere yafuna emirembe nga opposition leader? Could UPC have allowed Bobi Wine to construct a permanent building? This is the perception of an opposition Ugandans have. Nti tebalima kambugu enkoko yakabaka ikanga tesalena abadipinga tebayinza. Era waliwo omusajja omusoga yayiyo oluyimba owaddipi talifuga n'obutongole talibulya okera olutwa bwe yawamba obote bamusaza musumeni omusoga yaluyimba dipi negena mu parliament okuluwakanya ne baka kati this is the perception of the population when they see mpuuga awerekeddwako emizinga opposition leader then you are not an opposition leader. When the Barokole came, do you see Barokole in the cassocks? Barokole bambale gando. Masuti.
Kuba masubaki usamu eche
yes, to change because from the original. Yes.
You don't want to look because the cassock omala kusoma.
That's kubulira.
Ogisomerera.
The difference between a married woman and a prostitute is what?
The one is confined. Yes, but one is called.
A prostitute afuna olubuto abatakyali prostitute. Kati alina omusajja. Ekitegeeza Museveni yabaleetera enkola eya universality n'abaleetera enkola erya as we speak today nambozi ali mu America.
Tugere ku Raila. Ogambe bantu bagala Raila
abantu
bamunyumira bunyumirwa nga comedian, political comedian.
Reforms era abakoledde reforms. He would end there.
He's a reformist.
He's a reformist.
He's a
reform. You see, politics like a woman. When you beautify your woman, you she goes to another group. When you buy your wife, 2 gomeses, buy 10 suits. Musigale mubireka somukazi amakuganti. Wabadde wano yewe wange.
Ngolabika bwotyo bwotyo.
Sanga mukubo, jakunsanga mukubo. Atule no nze natudde mbakyala bannange. He doesn't want to associate with you. Kakati this man is credited for reforms.
Ayambe
Raila Odinga
to reform
Kenya to make reforms. That one he has
political, electoral.
Yes, byonna. Why? Not because he wanted, but because he has been fighting for power. Ngayagala nnyo obwa president. Buli babadde bamuwangula ng'afuna kye yeekwasa n'akijjawo.
Nagenda mu kooti n'awuzikanga
era nga bw'awunzika tebamuwa. This is why
ne bakozesa kyalwanyisizza
ekiyamba abalala nti Raila Odinga in the process because has been for a long time has ended up destroying every person in his government, has been playing with everybody bamusoka bamudavadi bani bonna yakola nabo. Tigoyinza okuba omusajja ne weeyita nti oli mugezi naye nga kuduuka tosasula. It comes a time nga bonna bakubanja nga tokyalina gyojja kintu. Politics, I tell my friends in NRM, politics is based on alliances. Alliances is based on mutual respect and trust. Not to use somebody as a hunting dog. Politics means who gets what, sharing.
Mutual respect.
Ngembwe wali sente bwe tufuna 5 billion ngembwe tujigobanga ate tujikomyawo mu kalulu tukolere tuleka kiko ngoyo wa mujja wa Mirundi ya muzaladi. This is not alliances.
Eyo tutuuseyo tutya.
Anti nkubuulira this man has been using people and dumping them. Raila ani gwatakolaganye naye mu Kenya. Raila ani gwatakolaganye naye n'alwana naye. Raila fought Moi. Politically he merged with the KANU. Ekibiina ekibali bakiyitaani. When Moi refused to anoint him as his successor n'avaayo. He worked with Kibaki's government. What happened? Najjamu national as Museveni helped them to lay down the foundation of unity. Bweyeja yakolaki? As the Minister of Works, yakuba ennyumba z'abakikuyu zonna nti ziri mu luguudo. Ani yakuddamu okukwasa pawo? Najjamu ono Raila Uhuru tamuwaddeko mulimu gwonna. If Uhuru wanted to rehabilitate and rebrand Raila yalimize empeka ekawa gye yakoze mu sekendi mu kalulu akaddako yalize ne Raila nga vice president, but he feared. If you cannot work with him in the government, why do you leave him to others? Nti Museveni kyabasinza nti Museveni
ogamba nti second term ya yandibadde yafuula Raila deputy president instead of Ruto.
Nti ye Museveni bamugamba Museveni taddira abaana baffe n'abateekamu abasajja abo ababadde mu magye g'Obote. Ye yategeera nti amagye galina luluzi zaago, oba obadde mu magye g'Obote oba gaani. Can you fire a gun? Ideology onosigalayo nga bw'oli tabantu bakutte. You kill a person, we kill you. Kati obajja n'empisa zo gw'olina okukola ki? Muganda ga nti omuyonjo omutono gwe guweta enkoko ekyuse. Most of our celebrated generals and the former army commanders did not have a stint in the bush. N'abaleeta basemwogerere DP yagireeta mu 86. Abadde bini baga fe tufuga government. Semwogerere arrogantly said, if you want to see the contribution of the Democratic Party, look what the district leadership. Look what he got in Kampala. Naye this man.
So you want to say Raila waganti bamubye. Never commissioner bakudde okuna ne baganti ebintu babigasse mu matankane.
They are stupid. Why? These people are stupid.
The commissioners?
The commissioners are stupid and they are creating trouble for Raila Odinga. Let me ask you. I normally pose questions. Akatabo kange kano okalaba nakakuleetedde. Why Ugandans are gullible? Guidelines were logical debate. Nkakuwala. Abantu muyigo okumizoninga ligi.
Akatabo ke bampadde kaganti why Ugandans are
gullible.
Ku katabo ka Ugandans are gullible atenda ko mutwe gwa byandala.
Anti byandala bamuga nti yabbi. Kuliko byandala, kuliko kadaga, kulikana. Tikadaga yakala kusuula Museveni. Ate n'omuteeka mu ministry ga East Africa.
Okay.
Hakuna akili. Argument defeated.
Kana wakandikira dakika ngammeka? How many minutes do you take?
Nkulaga. Tolaba. Nti ham. Olaba hamu ekintu kyayagala okukola waliwe bakayamira. Tunulira Baganda. Look what this Buganda Land Board.
Mbulage kyebagala
okulaba. Laba hamu kyayagala okukolawo. Even if this is a youth development sports center, even if nti Buganda Land Board yetunda, would evaluate oli kino n'agenda okukolawo wettaka lirye ekyapa kisazibwamu kitya. Look what this man.
So olwokuba agenda kuzimba ekintu ekirungi.
You would know okimanyi mu mateeka nti ekizimbe tekiyimirira. There is no court that can demolish ekizimbe ekigenda okukola ki ekigenda okuyamba eggwanga. Ejudge abatali bammwe bantu naye laba omusajja kyagala obakola and he has the money. Naye balina omuyindi balyeko enjawulo badduke. Kakati nkugamba
kala akatabo kampadde
nti logical. Let me give you a question. If your name releases results, listen.
I'm listening to you.
I'm giving
and
it
waiting
to you.
for the question.
I've given it to you.
Wonderful.
But you are used to people who give you and grab. Me, I'm not used. So it
like who else?
Remain is yours. I'm not taking it anyway. I'm not going to grab it because I've already given to you. By the time I give you one book, I have 100. You won't understand that. The main comfort.
They give you and grab. Okay.
Hey, kakati nkugamba nti using my logical guidelines, if your neighbor releases exams and the school comes out and says these are not our exams, the results are not correct, we are cheated, and 4 examiners out of 7 come out and support the school, how do you conclude?
Me, I would conclude that there was actually there was a problem in examining and marking the exams.
No.
If the examiners themselves agree with the school that was...
That's a simplistic matter. For serious people who be defend on reason, and in fact the coming of these commissioners to disown the results adds more votes to Ruto. Imagine
the damage these 4 commissioners inflicted on the results. Because originally they were for Raila.
That's your interpretation.
Yes, that's what it means.
Now.
These are Raila people because they are Kenyans. Then when the 4 commissioners come out, this only the results. It means they inflicted more damage.
You have told me
Luto would have got more votes than you add on the impact. You add on the impact of these idiots.
Tamale, 2 things you have done. Ongamba bulijjo nti oli mu Katoliki ate oli Muganda. Despite being so, you oppose what they do.
Yes.
Yes.
Because so I have my
being
name.
A commission doesn't mean I must agree with everything you bring.
When do you ballot?
When they have voted.
Let me give you another example. If a man is accused of cannibalism, a woman comes up and says, my husband is a cannibal. We ask, for how long have you been here? If you had divorced this man, then he would get you, listen to your evidence.
Yes, tumaze naye emyaka 2 naye musezi.
Naye musezi.
Nkyogera kati.
Nga kubi akute n'omusajja.
Naye musezi.
Because the election is in Kenya is a process. At what level do you detect that things are becoming bad?
The process, right, you have said it. The commissioner says, Chereda says, the process was opaque.
Yes.
That we are here and we cannot see what is being done here, but we are required to endorse what was done without our knowledge.
Who will listen to you? Who can listen to you? Ojinga Odinga is like the England team, soccer team. Team ya Bungereza temanyi mupiira. Egenda ne badokita simanyi ono wa buddo no wani. They always use excuses to cover their defeat. Mwaka wangu la World Cup simeka. How come that Raila every time he contests he cheated?
Okay, now that elections are over, let us set up ourselves.
Yes. No, it doesn't matter because success has many fathers, but failure is an orphan. Nabaganti today, nobuuza omuntu n'omugamba nti singa Museveni yakukubira essimu mu 8 nga agenze mu nseko tinjagala kusulako wuwo walikoze eki
tewaliyandikiriza
but today akugamba nti singa yajja ewange n'ali muwadde. No, the situation has changed. That's what I tell you. Tinsekerera bano aba traffic mbu accident evudde ku ndiima yeevuwa ku ndiima buli kaseera. Nobody can be a witness at an accident. An accident is not stage managed. Ekirigenze tewali amanyi. Owa boda abadde ayitawo agenze yo olumala okukozinga accident n'akola ki ente ebadde eyitawo egenze kakati whoever comes waliwo ojjukira olunaku lubwe bagamba nti
how simple is it for Ruto to run a government where half the population did not vote for him?
No,
he got 50, the other got 50.
Rules of the game. There was a time when the whole of northern Uganda, actually Lango, West Nile, Museveni was not getting votes. Gafuna 5%. My concern is nti abamuwanga 5% teyabalowoozako alowooza ku bamama amabira abamulwanyisanga. And Museveni is a honest man. Yagamba nti yalaba bamama amabira nga bamugoba. These were Kony agents abatisanga abantu. If you give mama mabira money, mama mabira, what have you given to the pioneers abatembuzi abaleta NRM mu Tanzania?
As a political scientist ogenda kuandika ebitabo by'ebyobufuzi bye tulifaringako.
Yes.
You need to make some of these statements clear.
Yes.
You said Museveni is an honest man.
But
he has said these statements 4 times.
Museveni is an honest man.
So where is the honesty now?
He tells you when these people were chasing this woman, Mama Mabira nange nga namukuteko mukuba. Kubanga Mama Mabira ne Ruchamus ne Mbidde incited the people against Indians. Nebakuba ne babatta. Mabike ne mukwata bwenti Mabike ne tusinkana mukuba ne mutta. Why? Kubanga Mabike incited Baganda ne bagenda balumbe yunebu nti sebagala ino obuyigize nga tabuyina. Ne batta Baganda 10. Ne mukwata ku bwenti Mabike mukwate. N'omuleeta Mabike mukuba.
On Baba
so
TV.
We must be honest people.
At
what level do we forgive you?
We have a
you
short
already
break.
Did it.
We'll be right back. Kale, oliku Baba TV. Program The Big Story. Buli lwakuna saa 3 paka 5 ne Tamale Mirundi nga twogera ku binene ebiri mu ggwanga tubadde ku kalulu e Kenya twagala okwetegereza
ogambye nti Museveni yabba obululu nakugamba tabba nakugamba
kooti yagamba nti yabba naye ne balega ne bw'atandibye yandiwangudde yabba obululu kooti yakyogera I'm referring to a judgment
written on Monday 25th November 2013. This book is a personal gift to myself to mark my birthday. I was born on 25th November. Emyaka tujawukana ne mama wange. I don't agree.
How do you disagree with your mother on your birthday?
Anti-discrimination.
Wazalibwa ng'ennaku z'omwezi 25 Novemba 1900.
Anti kyenkubuulira.
Temugikkaanyako.
Yagamba 61 ozengamba 58. Yes. Anti nedda. Anti omwana w'emyaka anti nkugambye nti nkaaga mugumu.
How do you disagree with your mother on your birthday?
Bantwala mu kyaki okumbatiza n'enkuba faaza lwalinnya omwana w'emyaka 3 he was older. Incident eno yeŋŋaana okukkiriza ebibi.
Ani yagikunyumiza?
Ye nakola stampede mu kyaki n'enkuba faaza kuntuma George William nga njagala ddala nendeka nga nsutudde gandula mukubi ku ttaka n'adduka ne Christian agitukamu
mu kanisa.
Kati omwana w'emyaka 3 tasobola kukola kintu ekyo aba atya n'okutya.
So you disagree nti wazalibwa 61 or 58?
58.
Ng'owakanya maama wakuzaala.
I disagree with her. Kakati nkugamba.
Katumalize Kenya.
Does the NRM rig elections?
Yes.
To understand the difference between rigging, political maneuvering and tricks, we have to examine the two. Rigging.
You are addressing rigging.
Yes. Rigging can only be done in an election process. For instance, in the case of parliamentary elections, the constituencies can be gerrymandered.
That's not rigging.
This is rigging. Apache North, Apache East, Apache Central, Apache North.
Your police gerrymandering.
Yes, gerrymandering. Bubi. Atokufera n'okusumagiza. Si bubi.
Okufera.
Safety is safety whatever name you give it. Namusumagiziza, namuyisiza ungalaka.
Namufeze.
Namufeze.
Bwe njogera kuwa.
Yo nanti nkubulira.
Ye package yonna gy'oyina.
Mwe rigging temujawula. Tuyina scientific rigging ne crude rigging.
Bonna bubbi.
Staffing eyo
bonna bubbi. Bonna
bubbi. Ne scientific bukodyo. Give for an example. Mu Rwanda rallies zikuba mu bisaawo. RPF epangisa ebisaawo byonna. Kati enkungano ndoze kuba ku mutwe gwo. Si rigging.
That's trickery.
Yes. Era bw'osoma katabo kange nkugamba. Nti in Masaka, for example, Bukoto, that was represented by 1 MP in 1980 Parliament. The area is now represented by 5 MPs. The difference is that the criteria for creating constituencies are clear and known until Nankabiro came in. Every 50,000 people must have a constituency. This cut across the areas in Uganda, which means it's different from the 1980 situation, which was done as a rigging strategy.
So kyowakanya kiki?
Rigging nga ekintu kiri across the board. That is rigging. Give nti onywedde enjaga bakiyita bati doping mu sports wanywedde enjaga. This is rigging.
Rigging scientifically or the other way. Era obobbi.
Eri nedda.
So kyowakanya nti NRM tebba kalulu. Kikyotegeeza.
Basinza bukodyo. Nti nkugambye nti omusajja yabajjamu aji. Politics wa Uganda alinga mukazi Musebbeyi.
Katoddeyo e Kenya.
Nti mwe Museveni yabajjamu aji ey'okwagala power. Why should the chairman, the district chairperson from the opposition want a change? Bali muwadde kati bwanika yali badde minister mu government ya DP. Naye ati mu government yene yabajega. Afuna obwe chairman. Governor.
Ebisanja bisa.
Lukwago. Abavuma nabe bajagalirako naye ng'emmotoka gyajjiddemu yaani yaabwe.
Si ya government.
Anti kubulidde could this happen ku mulembe gwa UPC nga balonda balonde bakansalazi minister yabalonda. Ekitegeeza Lukwago teyaliitse mulembe gwa UPC. Museveni brings an innovation n'akulamu embwa amanyu. let me tell you, if you can marry your sister.
It's good you said you don't advise the president, because my worry is if you were really an advisor of the president and that was the advice you're giving.
Do you believe singa osobola okuwasa sister wo wali mukkiriza omusajja omulala ne bwolaba reesi y'embuzi eba eyinako egoba. What is the highest trophy? What's the urge of the opposition to get power? If what they would get, they have got more than what they would get.
That is to summarize the whole opposition struggle in monetary terms. We don't oppose government for money. Some people oppose for positions, others want powers, others want prestige.
Ekintu kyonna, people operate like snakes. You step on a snake, it turns back and bites you. When you want,
so better you kill it.
If you don't have your enemy, you don't give your enemy an escape route, we will fight for death. Bano chibakola yensobi jibakola. Nino kugenda mu president office
tuli wa Ruto, tuli ku Ruto.
Nino kugenda media center banjoge.
So
nino kugenda mu gondo mu office ne banjoge.
Everywhere yanga ndimbwa. Ruto yabya kamba. Tokiza nti yabya kalulu.
Nti Ruto bamuteka mu situation yibanteekamu. Natuka n'okulilocatinga business ze. Ne batamuwa future. You must give your enemy future. But if you place him between a rock and a hard place, fights back for survival. Ruto was
so you look at Ruto
in the international relations, countries are free to use their nuclear capabilities if the country's survival is threatened. This man must go to his home and rot. Tonina mu future. Mukulaba koko no nina kubera ndi mupakasiwo. Give Mirundi a future. A rich Mirundi is a nuclear bomb. Ntakubera nga mulukosiro. Munda we ngani akuli. Am I going to die a slave? Omukazi chomwinjira kunoba wuwo. Ano mulumba rejano bedde. Bakuba. Always buli muntu azze n'awamba Kampala. Oluguudo lw'ejjinja luleka firi. Even in the military science, you cannot make an ambush of a circle. Mufa ne mugwawo. Ruto was not given. Ne mama ngina navayo n'avuma. Oyo omwana yakulira manju. Ne mudda ku mukolo. Nga Ruto agonde Raila ali ne gundi. Atayina kifo. There was a time when Ruto, as deputy president, visited Mombasa. Ne bagalawo ki. Ne bagalawo state house ye Mombasa. The man hired, rented a hotel. Nga bantu batunulira. But this is a man eyayimirira naawe nga babatwala Hague. They traversed Kenya for what they called prayer rallies. Ngoli naye. Nenga ni ababonyabonya, who was their tormentor? Raila Odinga. How can you change? Peasants don't change. Yes.
So do you want to say Kenyans remembered that in voting for Ruto?
Yes. It explains why the Kekuyos refused to vote. First of all, they were having a non-Kikuyu in the rest for the first time. They needed civic education. Ate baba ino alternative, nti economy yafu unotukolaji. Hey, economy yafu.
We control you at them.
We control you. We have the strings we pull.
Okay.
Yes. So the Kikuyus don't protect Chembagamba. Tuchita bulo desocialization in politics.
So would you blame Raila for his own downfall?
You must understand the mafia gang that is controlling this economy because we are in state capture.
So Raila chichatakoze chiyandikoze okuwangula. What did he do?
1 point abantu bamuagala. They allocated the role for him and he's not the first one. Waliwo kyokola ennyo abantu ne bakutya. This is why Mukwano go Besigye went to Kenya thinking for 2 reasons. One, nti a victory for Raila would also energize him. How? Nti Lagu Zambia amaze yakisimbawo myaka emeka. Wade Senegal yatandika okwesemba mu 71 alidde mu 90s. Nshikedi alwanye ne Mubutu emyaka emeka. Bwe yafudde mutani we yalidde. kakati people can have a different view about you. Abantu batya beesiga obukambwe bwa bwesige bwayitirira waliwo lwe yakwata akabokisi n'akasanga tebannalonda batya bamutya kakati when it comes to old age bw'olemera ku bantu omukazi bw'omulemerako ennyo oyinza omusanga nga bba yamunyiiziza naga nekyembadde nekumira nakyo kyayenze
mbuulira ku bombi omukambwe yaluwa eyasamba akabokisi n'akasa oba eyatta abantu eruweru ku bonna yasinga obukambwe
anti tiwozewo Museveni tomulaba obukambwe bwa Besigye ensi butya bamwagalako kunyenya muyembe naye tebamuwa waliwo bano abasajja aboogera ku mikolo
ate gwe bawa ne mubba
anti kyenkubuulira waliwo abasajja aboogera ku mikolo gwobawa muwalawo bwe bajja okuwasewo mubawa but they are entertainers waliwo omukolo gw'abasoga gwe naliko jjo abasoga ogw'abasoga gwe naliko ng'abasajja abo nembagalanye era nembagamba nti abasajja banyumisiza omukolo but when it comes to marry your daughter do they accept they entertain you you might go a good driver for me nenkusanga ne muwala wange nekkuba essasi I want you to be a driver but not mayimuko kakati society gives you a role tirayira bamulabanga mulwanyi era ekyo akikoledde Kenya as I said earlier
so baagala so omulwanyi agabana ddi
we bakwagalira
nze nwanenga mulwanyi abalala balya
abanyankole bamuyitani kaswerera yajja n'agamba yayogera ku mikolo gye bagenda okuwasa ono musajja omwogezi w'okumukolo agenda najja n'atuula mu ntebe abaana bange mujja ebinto naye yita mukazi w'omusajja muyite nti mukyala wange akubirewo ddayo enkeera gye wakoze oboze kubanja chairman w'embaga yakoze embaga ey'amaanyi ennyo n'ateekamu ne ssente ze bw'akomawo enkeera abayagala kwana mugole bamutwala talinnya lolo yo yakoze eki. You must understand the role of Raila in Kenya is a liberator and a reformist, but they cannot entrust power with him. Semwogere is a good man, but Semwogere never became Erande Paulo Muyanga teyamuwa vice baleeta Nitoko vice chairman military commission. Museveni bwajja era Semwogere teyamuwa vice yabuwa kazibwe eyayimbanga ennyimba za DP mu kinaana. When you look what Bidandisa Kintu Musoke and Kirunda Kivejinji, the two became prime ministers. Kintu Musoke never minister of local government. Politics, war, and soccer depend on luck. To be at the right place at the right time. There are many. You go to Malawi. Omusajja yasinga okulwanyisa Kamuzi Band. Chirwa. Nekyakufa kyana. When the time came for voting, little known. Bakiri Muluzi defeated them. The people who fought, people in Burundi, had already been died, persecuted, ndandaye within 1 month. The Kapwepwezi fought Kaunda. But who defeated Kaunda? Chiruba, 3 feet. And the man was perceived to be a Congolese. Politics is Iraq. Katumba Wamala Yakubu Akosasi Mulutalo, Bayaji Vibali Mukubi. When Napoleon bweyabanga apanga olutalo yamalanga ku evaluating emikisa gy'abakamanda be soccer even a plane bwegwa bayinza okugamba nti human error, bad weather oba natural disaster. Yes, talina mukisa, abantu abamu tebalina mukisa. Raila Odinga talina mukisa era tajja kuvuga Kenya. In fact, ne bagamba kati nti akaluba kaddemu alese Kalonzo Musyoka asinga yeta yakkirize
we bakaddamu ekibiina kya Azimio la Umoja emala galeetamu naye
anti namayinzi naluli bwe yakasazaamu teyajja mukitegeere mukibagamba bulijjo. In politics is not a divine power. In politics you must move gradually. You must move gradually. Politics, you cannot move from one extreme end of politics to the other. The man, nganaka lubaka zemulu gunu ravuma abantu, yavuma n'abalamuzi. Naga nti omuntu omwe asazaamu atyaka, naye nga ani akuleetedde okuvuma abalamuzi. Uhuru yavuma gundi, Chief Justice.
Maraga.
Yes, nga ani akakuleetedde. Gwotuula naye kati. Is the one you sit with. I tell my daughters, there are things you should not tell your mother and me if you are going to go back. Omukazi bw'ayogera ebyama bya bbaawe family emukyawa. You go dressed in a nice suit, but everybody who looks at you has a different picture about you. Image. Uyinza n'okusanga nga nazaala otazze kubuuza oba aliwo omuka atazze kubuuza mugugundi aliwa kubanga lwe yakwogedde. Peasants don't move the way you think. Nti ojja kuba jeeno obaleete ate Kenyan politics atambulira ku kingpins, the way they humiliated Musoka nti yangu okola interview najja n'agikola ne baga nti ate bakuwangudde. Ate Raila yejja n'adismantlinga ekifo ky'obwa vice. Every vice president in Kenya must be humiliated. Not Ruto. Ruto is a self-made man. Everybody in the government, but tomorrow Mujonga, Tumkanyuka Kasung, Renchato Mujayonga, Kitoli Chapati Tambuzawan, 101. Numerayu,
Tulikuruto.
Achiankuburi, comparing Kalakita, Nti Ruto, Yari ever studying at Da, Nti Murumbi, Bamu Bonyabonya. Gundi yashoka vice president Gundi yali Jaramogi Odinga Murumbi bamubonyabonya ani bonna Moi bamubonyabonya. In fact amanya Musego kyayogera kituufu nti fools make mistakes as a fools made. When you see how Moi was treated, humiliated, is the way Ruto has been humiliated as a vice president in spite of the difference. Nti it is a curse in Kenya to humiliate everybody. Bw'omwankuba mawulire nabusayi mukubyemu mwategedde tibwemukuba mu public ejja bakuba nabalema
nanti empisa zo neza nabusayi zanja nabusayi avumaani
kino kyasepinga kino
ekikuvumya empisa zo olumba wangamba
olaba mugamba eni mukyali mu tremors political tremors abanyampi baavaamu kati bakifuuwa ne bakinuusa bakyagobaana tulina gwogoba tibakyali banyampi. Those who can take a responsibility for what they have not done.
What younger you failed to read the environment you are working
therefore, me I don't regulate at all. The public has passed a verdict about me, and that's why I'm here.
Actually, how did you stay long with Mr. Museveni, given your character?
Yes.
Raoul the character.
No, he knew me. He knew
high
the
temper.
Museveni does not land on people. He started me. He did not. Museveni does not. Museveni is not a gambler or a fambola. Museveni uses yakutunulia bwati. He knows when to use you and when to humiliate you.
To drop to you.
Yes, he knows. Once your role is over. No, you marisi yebuyina mawuliti. Mutango mune mbinkubako. Nenkwatako kwa mune nkano okubanga abantu nembonono. Bino bibakola mu UCC. You are wasting time. Sinza kuyingiza kabuligwe. Tukubempa kama nnakunyanko kuyingiza kabulika walagwe. Because you are talking about my welfare. Nyizo kuyingiza kabuli. Mu 4 days.
Welfare you ekolebwako. You were presidential advisor, you get a salary. You don't come to TV to earn money. You simply venture.
To simplify for you. Nti Raila Odinga is not marketable for presidents. Raila Odinga does not have luck. Raila Odinga, Uhuru Kenyatta overestimated himself. If he wanted to market Raila Odinga, would have appointed him earlier, like Moi did. Moi appointed Uhuru Kenyatta Minister of Local Government before he became Vice Chairman of Kano. To work with you, he would have worked with Raila and see whether the two. Even the choice of vice presidents. This woman, oyo, mumazo okutte ekifo kya vice, tekiriyo. Bali bagala n'okumujjako bagadi. They came together, ne bakyanda amayini kyonna. Ekitegeeza vice president wa Kenya talina mugaso. Alinga wa Uganda. Is an exaggerated aid of the president. Kati mukisi, ekitegeeza you could not protect the Kikuyu interests by a vice president who was not a vice president for continuity. A vice president continuity means nti ono bw'afoona atwala. In NRM, a vice president is not a vice president for continuity. No. Because if the president is incapacitated, then the movement convenes and they select a person who can carry the rubengo, the challenges. The vice president wa Uganda siwa continuity. The same, in spite of his early achievement, to change the vice president into a vice president for continuity. Raila attacked the same achievement he had made.
He created it.
Yes.
He helped to create it.
Yes.
And then
because Raila has been a reformist. He protecting a official vice president. A vice president for continuity. Ballot. Never agadde attend the process. In Umuganda akugamba until in pursuance of a result you ban the whole house. Separate. Ekyo from Chireke. Neka kati yalita yinza ono Kaluwa. Women don't vote their fellow women. The only marketing strategy for Kaluwa was the next in line. But Musoka also was claiming it. So this is the vice president, but I'm next in line. What type of people? To a peasant, when you are sending a message to peasants, clarity matters. Clarity. Who is next in line? When Kenyans witness an early, when Musoka was fighting with Raila Odinga over supremacy, because by the time Raila agreed to join the Chibachi's government, Musoka with the vice president or no prime minister, we are two principled. Ngona principle yo sijimanyi zamu the vice president. Kakati Kenyans who had witness a confusion earlier. Would you plant them? Three. When you look at the Kenyan politics, yajamu veriti. Writing books, authoring books, so everybody has written a book. Everybody has written a book. Why? Because the two candidates, their hands were tied. This man Ruto failed to do what? To vote. Yayagala asigaze facilities as a deputy president. Atambule werunga hazina na alemeramu. Why did Raila fear to attend the presidential debate? He could not defend corruption in the government. But Ruto had an escape route. He has been doing it. I do not have political power. But Ugandans could not believe that the super minister couldn't have political power. Are you telling us that you sat there without anything to do?
Because you have just said that a Ugandan vice president does not merit about a prime minister.
But the prime minister
is
hard. Even visiting Nusaf, the prime minister of Uganda, okujja kono nabanja kubakuba kubedda naye Rugunda n'embabazi badde bayina power. Kubanga power comes with
yasinza power
status.
Ono yasinza power. Va ku muntu agaba ne sente mu
mobilize andi nkugamba.
Ono yasinza power.
Kasitogamba mukazi wo.
Asirisiza buli omu.
Bwekasotegera nti mukazi wo wamputtu. Abe wamwe ne bajja tumugamba kufumba chai. Gamba nti bane kamba fumbire chai tuli gender sensitive. Kubajja kulemera wagaito ina mikono. Kati nabanja kwagobyaliwa. Nabanja nganoneke ya mulemerawo. Sebo ndike na ina sibiki singina lemero nganzi nchireka ngantema kasitone kanemerako kubulangiti nganchi kusulira unga ngende wa
kati obuzibu bwo oba ne goyagala tulaba byala. So you want to compare comparing Ambabazi Rugunda ne Nabanja.
Yes.
Olabanga bali be bayina power.
Yes.
Nabanja yasinzo kwa
anti ledda asigukulula Rugunda yabo bamubogolera kebyo.
Nabanja kujuta the prime minister.
Nabanja nagende Gombe ne basikala unga batudda abasawo tebaliyo. Yeru abo ba Rugunda bali diplomatic.
Yes.
Nti Rugunda yategeranga nti oyo simusobola. Bananyini yaba mukozese bwe basinika amanyo nziruka. Naga wae kangene enfumbe cha.
Ate Nabanja tayina gwatya. Alumba bonna
atajawani. Bijja mugwako ajawani ogenze Gombe basirise bati bakutunulide bwe bati ogenze mu bulangisi aba refugees bakulese tolinya oneke nalemerawo
tazogera ko lumu
bamuleta talinya bamuleta kakaba basinika amanyo bwe bati nadduka
ya muvubi wabwe mwayagala muvubi avubye bulungi
abotoberega mu bajja yamanyo bwega nibasinika enzimwe bati bananyini nsi notema nodduka kakati abotoberega mu
the big story neyo
Tamale
Mirundi katumalirize Kenya edawa from where do we see Kenya?
No, let me tell you, you cannot force Kenyans twice. It will be going. I don't expect the Kenyan Supreme Court to decide to cut them. When you see nti kyewali yogedde nono kyeyayogedde. What if Ruto Gonda has won? Ye nabana abasatu balivuddeyo because babateekamu. And this mukigiremu the oath of secrecy. 2, they create a situation. Are they going to be witnesses or are going to be commissioners? Are you commissioners or you are now going to be witnesses?
It will be court to decide. Court can have them in their commissioner role.
That's why
help clarify.
Abantu bange nga bagamba tugende wa Ruto kuba fe tumanaging ebintu bye wano atwe millions of dollars atu tugende tumugambe. Let me tell you, in Ruto you are going to create a more dangerous person than President Kagame. The moment you don't study sovereignty, sovereignty, the person who knows the sovereignty is
I also agree that many Ugandans think Ruto is theirs. They want to own him.
The person I've seen who knows the sovereignty is my elder brother.
Who?
You know him?
I know you.
Yes. He looked after me from senior 1, even P7, until A level. But when we have a serious problem in the family, he comes. I think I must have. When he talks to you, I take it. I'm talking to a gentleman, and I am a America.
Gentleman referring to
this you. Man, USA gives money to Israel, much more money than any country. Do they control their foreign policy?
No.
Abaduga for sovereignty abalema. If you want to black a mail, the Ruto was forced to relocate his businesses here. Why? They were not safe in Kenya. Now he's in charge. The only way he can relocate back to Kenya. Because and the 2, Gaddafi bamubuza ekibuuzo ng'Obama wangu Dakarulu. N'abuuza nti what is your comment on Obama? Gaddafi yagamba nti omuddugavu agenda kufuna inferiority complex ku bazungu. To prove that he has the power agenda kuba baddugavu, which he did. If Kenyans are choosing him of being a stooge of Uganda, what he's going to do is to first cut off relationship with Uganda and become his own man.
Well, again, without Uganda,
a psychologist will tell you, human nature is fighting for freedom to get out of the shadow of its mentor. This explains why all leaders who have mentored their successors have turned against them. Nobody wants to be a stooge.
It is only you who has not turned against your principle, but many of them do.
Until the money.
But the reason being,
the president, president called me and like others. A chunk of Anchiman, Museveni Yampita, Gadimana Luis, and Never Nakarima Webari. Era Museveni concluding Anga Gamba. Mr. Mirundi.
Oh, you're Mr. Mirundi?
Yes. Museveni had a respect for me. Era Yabagament, give Mirundi unfettered access to me. Why? Has the information you people you don't have. Oh, never seen.
Unfettered access.
Abataso, never seen.
Away Kubida. Now, unfettered access.
Abataso, but you will see into Abataso. If you have Abataso instructions in that state house, you create trouble. An educated man, Tatia, I can transform my labor. This is the difference between us. In trade union, we ensure that you are educated to be able to transfer your labor. Neo muntu yenaka strategeera nti kino bwe kivaawo. That's why bagenda mu malogo. Abatasoma bagenda nnyo mu malogo. Kakati the president told me, after listening to the fake tape, and I reasoned with them, was I preaching in the church? Where is the moderator? Nimusibi nagati muli moderator. It's not true. No yimirira. Nagandi mu Baganda mumanyi obukolwa. Obukolwa mbuyita mutya mu Buganda. Nimuganda tubuyita bukulu oba butululumi. Naye omanyi nti bwezi nga kubasatu omunene bugulya ti kati obukolwa bukulidde okitawo.
The big story on
Baba. So therefore kakati siza mulwanyisa. Unlike other people abatamanya kyabakuba. Nze namanyi
obukolwa bakuba.
2 bali balwanira organic case ebakubye bamazeewo 2 president ambitions ziweddewo. And for me nibo banagenda mu
kale Mirundi yesibye nnyo ku nsonga egamba nti abasiru oba abagwagwa baddingana ekintu kyekimu naye nga balooza nti bajja kufunamu
amanya Musegabe yagamba the fools make repeat mistakes other fools made in the past. Nze nkugamba nti politics history does not new players. When you analyze how the Kikuyos humiliated the Moi is the way Uhuru humiliated his deputy. But this has been changed. One of the innovations of Laira was to make the vice president not droppable. Mujamwimbi. And Uhuru had things to learn from. Nti Joyce Banda ni wamutali kabale magana. Joyce Banda nafuka ne president. He messed up herself natunda nenyenyi oba president. Ate nano nakameme Botswana. Ne bamuwana abazungu. Simanya akoze iki. Nga the population terrified for woman. Era bwoba olonda vice president mu kitegeero. There is no woman who brings a more beautiful house girl in the family. Omukazi omugezi yenna kasooka nti ekyo ekiwala kikyafu sijja kunywa butunda bwakyo kyalemezaawo. But there is nobody who can make a vice president who can overshadow. In fact, Kenya has been saved. Kubanga Uhuru abadde yeyambisa given the history and the conduct of Gonde Kaluwa. Kaluwa yagatakaka gatunaka kubalira mutwe nga balwana y'ekibaki. Yali yayisika babatwale Hague. Ne bamujja mu Ministry of Constitutional Affairs and Justice. Yesimbawo n'avuganya ekibagundi.
I think kyetutategedde, what I want you to understand. Uhuru yabadde ayagala kuleetawo to treat a historical
kakati
matter.
That one also is bad. Nti Uhuru wanted building bridges. Yes. But bridges take a time.
Because you have 5 presidents. Yes. Nga abaluwo tebafugangako buli mulungi bawolekera
buli. How do the Nigerians make it? Aba Nigeria, when a president comes from the north, the vice president from the south. Era when Goodluck wanted to alter the situation, Obasanjo yamuvaawo. Yawaga yali agiringa kino kyekyanga. Nebaga nedda mugenda mwembi. Kyovala baali bamuganya okwogera nti yalagiwa yafudde.
So would you think that Kenya can amend?
You get a man like Chebukati who wants to make a name. How can you have a hanger man? You cannot really two. When you are appointing somebody, you must have some swings. You get a clean man like Chebukati. Swing is not going to.
You think Chebukati is clean?
Yes. Atebiriwa. Nayono wa mu chairman wa electoral commission. Yawabira besi yomusango gwale.
Ewafe fayo. Tuli.
Ebitegeza bakolera sobi.
Wawa no muleke.
Ono wants to be the first rule president. Uhuru wants to be the rule amali egwanga aliyeyambisa okumala waka kukuka family zabo. He overestimated himself. He marketed somewhere which was not marketable. His cause was
he knew that Mukarwaka Goraida Yayamu wangu did never move back. He wanted to do some justice.
Museveni has done it for the last 6 years.
Building bridges.
Wasome kitabo kyakugamba. Bali babatidde ne katega ya mu Northern Uganda mu 70s. Nga inayo sera. Mu Northern Uganda. Bamukwatya ku lusozi eri golo. Abasajja baami ne bambuuza okola kiwano nti am student of geography. Nga agenze ugundi gye bali bamutidde mu Bagiso. Ebusoga yayinayo omusajja bamwitaani. Nkoko. Eno ekabali yayina yani amini yabatta ku firing squad. So you can see Museveni's network. Nakugamba nti okero olyem baby yali ababysitting ngani mugozi. Bali okero olutwa yali friend wa Museveni nga Museveni yamuwa ku sente ziyayo chamanda. He was never treated by Obote well because instead of coming to Kampala to help Ito Joko to suppress the rebellion, he fled to Tanzania and Obote never forgave him. Ekitegeza building bridges gwera bolwe jinja. You are building bridges under which abantu bakitegera building bridges.
Yes, so that for once the historical imbalance between the Chikuyu, the Kalenjin and the Luo is treated. Na baruo na bafuga.
Anti kakati echo.
Wakati over massive for the next how many years? His decision was good.
Waliwo omulala bamuyitaani. Another Kikuyu, a police Luo bamuyitaani. Is a man, a secretary wa Jubilee.
Atali.
That is a gentleman.
Atali Mushoka.
Mushoka Mukamba. Nayo bamuyitaani. There's a gentleman, a real gentleman, atali olengo, atali obundi, Obulu Odinga.
Mudavadi?
Mudavadi Muluya. Neither is a Jaru. Ye musajja ali pole. Yasomera nnyo e Kenya.
Nze ndowooza nti Uhuru maybe ayinza okuba yakola ensonga kubanga yakikoleeta by force, yakireeta bubi.
Alina okutegeera nti all of the politic rulers are assassinated except him. They assassinated Tom Mboya, they assassinated ono mulala gwe bakasembayo okutta Owuko. Why did they leave Odinga? Bategeera oyo kanga baana tasaana kutta, tali wase kutta, oyo mulikaza nnyo katembawo. That alone would tell him, why do they assassinate police rulers and you are not assassinated? Kitegeeza baali bamubala dda nti oyo mumuleke wazanye katembawo. But
you know,
if you have experts in foreign affairs mu Uganda, mwali badde mwatandise dda okuwa bannayuganda tukiyita security alert. Ugandans would avoid Kenya, especially Kisumu, because the rules are blaming you for this.
True.
The
sentiments that
uprooted the red line one time to block our sins, commodities. Businessmen would be advised to relocate to Dar es Salaam. But Museveni, because of the East African community, nesipiriti nakyebyo tabyogera. Government ya Uganda is sacrificing abantu bayo to protect friendship.
It's happening after that.
Yes,
anyway,
bajja bakubirayo Uganda
ne
how are you going to avoid Kenya? Nga nejjeno omulambe yali badde alwanira embuya alwalira Kenya.
Ebimu ku binene bibadde
ng'eddwaliro lyammwe mwalibba. Allah ababonereza nnyo basajja mmwe. Allah abakubye ebbalayi mu byenyi. Nze njagala buli agenda ebweru bamuttireyo muzimbe wano. Do you see Chinese going to America for treatment? Do you see the Russians going to America for treatment? Because you have that privilege of going for treatment. Kyemuva mwonona amalwaliro ne mutazimba lyerubowa. How can you say that a general is being treated in a foreign country? A general, where is Imbuya? The military must have all the facilities in a country.
The assistant found that the Mbuya Military Hospital doesn't have sufficient
resources. For how long?
It will be
nga bakola standby force namwe mujja nga general mwali Kenya mukola mumuyina ng'ennyinyiza mmwe ezaali zigenda okuwa Kenya air power bazikuba mu gundi bazikuba mu
Museveni afuna omusala gwa million 3 zaatugamba.
Is a fix. Era vice president
bakyogera wano.
Second, a vice president must be an MP. Why is the sente zafuna? You see, let me tell you, explain to you. You are bringing the gund Uganda Airlines. One, there are 4 issues I must understand as an independent thinker. As this Uganda Airlines being in the news in the recent times?
Yes.
Yes, why? Bagoba yabakozi ne bakolaki.
So there is a disgruntled group around?
Bagoba board. 2, waliwo jeno gwe bakagobayo. You know these people, the way they fight, they have a tit for tat. Did this salary disparity or the money you were complaining about, has it come from an auditor's report? Was he stealing? Because we have disparities in the salary.
They are not stealing, yes. But people believe that they are getting so much
so
for
much.
An enterprise that is making losses worth 160 billion.
It doesn't matter. Let me tell you, you have Rwanda Air, Ethiopian Airways, Kenya Airways. How much money do their executive earn?
If you compared?
Yes. You are exaggerating the money in the Uganda currency. What about in the dollars? How much is this? I'm not sentimental.
I think dollars.
I require with the somebody who steals. Nebajogera mu bantu. Nemitwale biri bajogera mu bantu. Bwavu bwamwe. Wano waliwo obwamawulire obwavu bwali mu Citizen. Omusajja bamuyita Mwine yawava mu World Bank.
Parliament ye yatidenge gama nti
bafuna mmeka.
MPs bali mu kitundu ogwa dola
naye ate ona
afuna ebiri.
You sit with your cabinet talking aloud. You make it talking allowance. Many of them will go back empty-handed. Some have not even made their maiden speeches for 5 years or 10 and they come back. And you talk about a person bwaba atudde ne banne nti gwofuna mmeka kwega ne hoteli mwe batudde atudde ne executive banne owa Rwanda Air owa Kenya owani nti gwofuna mmeka
nfuna emitwalo ebiri ya dola
nti anze nja kusula mu kago hoteli go. If you don't have money don't hire. Temwe hiring abali expensive. Ye kaya singo kufuna sente. This is a battle inside. Nti taina qualifications. Who tells you?
It's a battle inside.
Nabagamba nti mu Uganda bwe balanga nti advertisement bagitadde mu mawulire for the recruitment of somebody. You must have a master's degree. What diploma asaba n'agutwala ajja giyigirako diploma ajja giyigirako masters. Tosagana Uganda what diploma agutwala
tolaba buzibu bwonna mu muntu akulira ekitongole ekitakola magoba okusasulwa ennyo.
Let me tell you, don't blame this woman. I told you Muyanga singa tulibadde tukyalina access waligenze mwene BS nolaba comment zange nga batandika Uganda Airlines revival. I said, are you reviving it after considering what caused the collapse of the earlier one? Why did the earlier one collapse? Is it the right time when the giants are collapsing, giant airlines and mergers? Is it the time when you start a new airline? What is the feasibility study? Nenkugamba nti ezenyonyi bwe zajja the maiden flight to Mombasa yatwala container ya organs. Kyovula basooka zaalijo kubanga network eri Zambia eriruddawo not purposely for transport. Nenkwa nti ennyonyi ey'emu egendamu abantu 67 naye bweberamu abasatu oba abana esowani bagula 67 from a former minister was sacked and was not sacked for this. I had no hotel. Me know what is happening in all these things because when they quarrel they come to me.
So njagala kutegeera
kakati yankubulira ekirala. Let me tell you. Bannange ekintu nga kizibu. Omukulu w'essomero ayisizza abaana ne bamugjawo. Abazadde ne bagamba nti aveewo. Nga abaana bayise bulungi.
Abazadde baba mwagala bona ministry esobola omugjawo.
Abazadde be ngamba ba benefit.
Ate bakkiriza. Ate ayisa first grade omugjawo.
A woman who revised the Uganda Airlines Iranga Bwavuya was sacked immediately. You don't celebrate your feet. After reviving the Uganda Airlines, you were sacked. Avuya kati avuyirawo. Mumanyi bamwitangani Musoga bamwitangani. Avuya. Yavuya. Maya manya ago mazibu.
Yajiriba gundi.
Musoga.
Monica Azuba. Azuba the minister.
Azuba. Okuzuba. Azuba. Murusoga kitegeeza ki?
Azuba ewafu kitegeeza kuwala. Azuba.
Era y'olwamala okuzuba ne bagoba embwa ali mpigi. A person, a minister, you don't even be allowed to nurture your baby, to nurture your bago. Olwamala omukozesa ne bakanyuka bannannyini ate bamujja mu Uganda, bamujja mu gundi, bamujja mu yali muyinula nga yali ku board enzibi promoted to a minister ne bawamba Kazena Kasayajja. Olumala okukozesa ne bakanyuka ne badduka kati avuyira mpigi talina na 10 mu nnika talina na 10 mu lwebajo yadduka me knew. If Uganda Airlines the time for national flag carriers is over. Is business. If giants are collapsing, Sabena the gateway to Europe kati bagite send Brussels. At one time British Airways abandoned the Entebbe route. Atefe bitu bituluma. Let me tell you, goni mwana muto. Okimanyi ku mulembe gw'obote. Eyali akulya Uganda Airlines bamuyitanga Latigo. Ennyonyi yamuleka Uganda Airlines. Eba egenda London. Kegenda kutuuka London. N'atuuka ku kisaawe n'agiyitayo n'ekomawo. At that time, ennyonyi zayiwanga amafuta yagayiwa muleka Victoria. Latigo called a plane which was almost arriving in Britain
to come back to take him as managing director. Gendo obuuze oyo muvubuka yali wa Kampala East yali secretary wa Uganda Airlines board of directors akubuli ekyasula Uganda Airlines. The routes were sold by somebody, were stolen by somebody. Routes za Uganda Airlines yazibaguza luvannyuma nga batulimba routes baziguza Saudi Air. Me have written I have startling evidence kwebyo ebintu byamu.
So olowooza nti azuba kyali kisaana aweebwa obudde.
Yes. If the intention was to make the to revive. Yes, never jani bakola bi statistics ebyobusiru. Omanyi Rwanda Air ereta abalambuli boletani. Every civil servant must enter. Is that to coerce people? Nabi wonde ebyo civil servant nali esasuli.
Are we saying now that Uganda, the time yoku reviving Uganda Airlines tayali into
anti nkubuulira omukazi ono simunenya. If you say you told me that the woman is stealing money that is not entitled to her, then I should do this.
No, he's not stealing.
Yes.
It's what the board
dole mitwale bili bajogera mu bantu mbadde nkubulya nga nkugamba nti obusiru bw'abamawulire mayiba obeera omwavu n'obwongo bwo buba mwavu. Abamawulire ba citizen oyo omusajja mwene yava mu World Bank najja ne kapa ye n'akwata benzi n'ekima kapa ye entebe baakuba omutwe mu mawulire ne mu ngabo ti amawano gagudde omunene asindise benzi entebe ekime kapa ye alowooza eno kapa eziri emmesi epet mu Amerika agisuulewa ezire ne hospital era bwe bagamba mbona omukazi yani era musoga munno yani ono ali mu president office yaleta emmesi musenero bagamba nti emmesi egula sente mmeka yeye emmesi emmesi they have the image of emmesi y'omukyalo.
The big story.
Nabagamba nti abaana abakola biology abakola sciences basala emmese n'ebikere ani abirina singa batendalinga ne mubinoonya mu nsalo it must be nti bino ebikere abaana byebasala si mmese zammwe
emmese twazisolanga sente nyingi okulera
muteekeko nti emmese enzungu. So you see, society, we are not sentimental at all. Omusala gulinga penalty. Teri coach aligana nti lifiri alimbye timu yange tesana penalty. A salary. This woman did not create that salary. Whether she got a job on the phone, if you have omusajja omuwala buyagamba yateresa munensa oya cement agenda ogikimayo namugamba ti empungu yagisitudde naye namuteresa emitayimbo nadaye namugamba nti bitayimbo yange giriwo tiwaayi emessage azikekese namugamba oli musiru mu nsi mulimu emessage kekete emitayimbo kakati naye omusajja namugamba nti gwe osinga obusiru mu nsi omuli empungu esitula sementi kiraaga weewuunya nnyo nga mulimu emmese kakati mumbuulire obanga omukazi bugulu woman yatunda ebanka enamba ku simu is it surprising a person to get a job on a phone?
Kubaba TV
mutuleke banaye mutuleke tukole ebirala mutuleke
sawa 7 paka 5
ne waliwo omusajja ono banaye oyagala nnyo ebyokusoma omusajja ono yawandiisa akatabo kamugisha
yewa Accurate Estates.
This book I told
ngawandika kuki
anti yawandiisa life nene strategy. When you read this book omusajja ono asobola bayamba nnyo mu private sector abatali babitatu
obuzibu obutabo bw'abanna Uganda buli omu awandika bibliography awandika bulamu
anti yes but we learn anti kankubuulire kirungi nnyo.
They don't write principles.
Do you know that if we wanted to orient our population
business
anti kyenkubuulira nti twalijeyo abantu nga 10 I wanted to find 100 people but buulira ifu yaabwe etali ya busuma abaana bano bagigeere tubazeeyo eri okukola nti ono yali mulimi. In fact another good idea if I'm in education noyola abaana abo bonna abaleebeetera e Makerere University awo muwandegeya these are children of educated people bebazaala ne basuulawo
children of professors, children of educated people. If you get a school for those people, ababana bali ku Makerere University, these are you can produce intellectuals in those rooms.
To engage
mukasome anti ababana tebasoma obwange nagenze mu bookshop nga ntuteyo kano nasanzeyo mugende akakyaliyo bakayita adjusting the trap nakabawandikira nembagamba tiena ali mu ekyusize enkola yaye y'okulonda naye tejja kujjawo ba independence era teyabajjawo Uganda buy kekataba akakyasigaddemu go to Uganda bookshop and my books tebulwawo no.
Anatolika Mugisha ayogede kuka Dr. Chibirige BMK wali waka radio Simba yani sekalala kembadde somena kwezo naye obuzibu
ni mutabani
wange kutegera business principles
kuandika kumanya akahamu yatuuka nokateka bakateka kusira bazani akasoma because this is a young man era bwe bakateka kusira era bayakala bamusule mu banki mu besente bakajjeko bemunabanga tumuyina
Mirundi
oli lwakuna mwogero oluzungu olw'amaanyi ennyo naye nga literature books muli kyazijja Nigeria oluzungu lwammwe lubayamba
ekyo asomamu oluzungu olumala kale era lwali bwetyo bwegenze tusinkana ti ku lwokuna lwa sabiti ejja
katuweereze ekisa ekirala kati waliwo